Welcome back to This Day in Scottish History. I'm your host, Colin MacDonald, and today we set sail into one of the most ambitious and scientifically driven explorations of the heroic age of Antarctic exploration. It was on November 2nd, 1902, that the Scottish National Antarctic Expedition, SNAE, under the command of William Speirs Bruce, departed from the shores of Troon, marking Scotland's bold entry into the icy landscapes of Antarctica. Our story today centres on William Speirs Bruce, an accomplished natural scientist whose polar expertise was unrivalled in Britain at the time. By the 1890s, Bruce had gained extensive experience from expeditions in both Arctic and Antarctic regions. Driven by a desire for scientific discovery, Bruce initially sought to join Robert Falcon Scott's Discovery Expedition, a well-funded British venture bound for Antarctica. However, Bruce's proposal to expand Scott's mission into the Weddell Sea quadrant was rejected by the Royal Geographical Society, RGS, with RGS President Sir Clements Markham dismissing it as an act of mischievous rivalry. Undeterred, Bruce rallied support from the Royal Scottish Geographical Society and the wealthy Coates family, who provided the financial means for Bruce to realise his Antarctic ambitions independently. In late 1901, Bruce purchased a sturdy Norwegian whaler, Hekla, which he transformed into a specialised Antarctic research vessel. Renaming her Scotia, Bruce outfitted the ship with extensive scientific equipment, laboratories, and reinforced her hull to withstand the crushing forces of polar ice. By November 1902, Scotia was ready to set sail, with a dedicated team of Scottish scientists and sailors, all prepared to face the formidable Antarctic environment. The expedition's goals were comprehensive, focusing on a range of scientific fields, including meteorology, oceanography, geology, and biology. One of the expedition's key ambitions was to establish a permanent meteorological station to collect critical climate data from Antarctic territory. They were also tasked with mapping unexplored regions of the Weddell Sea and collecting marine specimens from the icy depths. These scientific objectives underscored Bruce's vision to make SNAE a rigorously scientific expedition, standing in stark contrast to the more adventure-focused aims of some of his contemporaries, like Scott and Shackleton. On their southward voyage, Scotia made stops at several ports, including Madeira, Cape Verde, and Port Stanley in the Falkland Islands, before finally reaching the treacherous waters of the Weddell Sea in January 1903. The journey was challenging, with thick pack ice threatening to trap the vessel, forcing Bruce and his crew to navigate cautiously around the South Orkney Islands. By March, the team found a secure anchorage on Laurie Island, the easternmost island in the chain, where they established their winter base. They constructed a stone building on the island, which they named Omond House in honour of Robert Omond, a supporter of the expedition. This modest structure became the first permanent weather station in Antarctica, a facility that, under Argentine management, continues to operate to this day as Orcadas Base. Despite the harsh conditions, the scientific work continued without pause. Scotia's crew collected numerous geological and biological specimens and conducted systematic meteorological observations. However, the winter season took a toll. Tragically, engineer Alan Ramsay, who had been struggling with a heart condition, passed away and was laid to rest on Laurie Island. In December 1903, the expedition departed for Buenos Aires, where Bruce successfully negotiated with the Argentine government to take over the meteorological station on Laurie Island, ensuring its long-term operational continuity. This agreement not only solidified Bruce's scientific legacy, but also marked the start of Argentina's enduring presence in Antarctica. After resupplying, Scotia embarked on a second voyage into the Weddell Sea in early 1904. During this leg, the crew pushed farther south than any previous expeditions in this part of Antarctica, reaching 74 degrees south. It was here that Bruce and his crew glimpsed a new landmass on the eastern edge of the Weddell Sea, which he named Coates Land in honour of his expedition's primary patrons. This discovery reshaped geographic understanding of the Weddell Sea, indicating that its eastern boundary was not as extensive as previously thought. After extensive surveys and specimen collection, Scotia returned to Scotland in July 1904, where Bruce and his crew were met with a hero's welcome. The Scottish National Antarctic Expedition had amassed over 1,100 species, including 212 that were new to science, along with invaluable data that would inform oceanography and climate science for decades. Yet, despite the monumental scientific contributions of the expedition, Bruce and his team were not awarded the prestigious Polar Medal. Markham and other influential figures in London's geographical community were less than enthusiastic about recognising Bruce's achievements, partly due to his open Scottish nationalism and his preference for scientific rigour over glory-seeking adventure. Though Bruce never returned to Antarctica, his pioneering contributions laid a foundation for Scottish oceanographic and polar studies. In 1906, he established the Scottish Oceanographical Laboratory in Edinburgh, which became a research centre for his specimens and a meeting place for future polar explorers, including figures like Amundsen and Shackleton. The lab served Scotland's scientific community until financial struggles forced its closure in 1918. Despite being overshadowed by Scott and Shackleton, Bruce's dedication to scientific exploration has not been forgotten. The Scottish National Antarctic Expedition demonstrated Scotland's capacity for rigorous scientific exploration, leaving a legacy that continues in Antarctic research today. Thank you for joining me on This Day in Scottish History. Until next time, I'm Colin MacDonald. Haste you back.